up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Devin, and I hope that you will consider sticking around and subscribing. If you're not new, as always, welcome back. You know I love you. All right, so today's video is an eyes only tutorial. I wanted to take a second look at the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette. However, instead of just doing another tutorial with this palette, I was thinking to myself as I was getting ready to film today, how can I make this more than just another tutorial with the same palette? How can I potentially make it more educational, more valuable to the people that are watching? And so I talk a lot about my deep set eye shape when I'm doing eyeshadow tutorials in general on YouTube, because that's just my eye shape. And I've learned a lot, obviously, about different eye shapes and what looks good on which one, just from being a makeup artist working on brides and bridal parties for the past 6 years as well. So I figured I could teach a little bit more in depth for my deep set eye girlies in particular. So throughout the tutorial, I do give you very specific tips and tricks on how to flatter a deep set eye shape and why certain things work and why certain things don't work for my particular eye shape. So if you're a deep set eye girly, you are in luck because we talk all about that today. Let's get into it right now. So I'm gonna fill in my brows first. This is the Maybelline Express Brow Ultra Slim Pencil, and I have mine in the shade Black Brown. I have not been able to put this down. I have been absolutely obsessed with this brow pencil. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fill my brows in. All right, we look nuts, which means that we are exactly where we want to be. Okay, P. Louise, eye base to prime. Taking some translucent powder to set that down. All right, now eye tapes. So if you've watched my channel before, this is really not new for you, but I'll just explain in a little more detail than I normally do why I like to use these. So the first and most obvious reason is that I really like a crisp, clean edge. That's kind of become part of my signature style. However, I like that because I also feel like it looks good on my own eye shape. I do have slightly downturned eyes in addition to them being deep set. So I do find that placing the tapes at a slightly upturned angle helps to give my eyes a nice lift. And you really just want to follow the natural line of the outer corner of your eye. Again, mine are slightly downturned, so I do cheat it a little bit upward to get that nice lifting effect, but you just want to be careful that you don't angle it up too far because that can actually cut your eye off and shorten it. But if you place it too low, it can drag your eye out and almost drag your outer corners down a little bit, especially when you smile. So you want to find that spot that follows the natural line of your eye and then just slightly do a little upward. Hopefully that makes sense. And then of course, nobody's face is perfectly symmetrical. Nobody's eyes are perfectly symmetrical, you know, that whole bit. So you want to make sure that you look at each eye side to side, and then you also want to make sure that you look straight in your mirror and make sure that you're even on both sides. One isn't up too high or too low. Again, you're never gonna hit it 100% perfect to like the exact degree, but you want it to look as even as possible to the naked eye so you get that illusion of symmetry that we're trying to create. And a good cheat for this is I'll always kind of look at the distance between the tape and my brow and just make sure that that at least looks even on each side. I'll close my eye, I'll see how it looks on each side when my eye's closed. And again, I just do my best. All right, let's get into the fun part. So my first tip is going to be to keep the depth of your eye look in the outer corner and slightly through the crease. So I am going to take a Sigma E38 and I'm gonna come up into this shade Soft Spot. And we're gonna use this to contour the eye a little bit. So I always like to start packing that first shade into the outer corner because that's where I want the most depth, wherever you place your brush first after picking up a product onto it is where the product is going to be the most concentrated. So I like to work that into my outer corner first, and then once I've worked some of that product off the brush, I will start to slowly invite it up through my crease. So the trick, whether we're doing dramatic makeup or not, is to try to bring my eyes forward out of my eye socket. So when I say I'm gonna contour the eye, what I mean is I'm gonna create a little depth in the outer corner, but then I'm also gonna bring that shade up onto my brow bone, because anytime you contour something, you're pushing it back into the face. Anytime you highlight something, you're giving the illusion of it coming forward. We do the same thing when we're contouring and highlighting our face, but you can do the same thing with the eyes. So what I'm trying to push back is my brow bone to give the illusion of my eye socket and my eyelid coming forward a little bit. So you can use dark eyeshadow if you have deep set eyes. It's just all about where you place it. If I were to take this brown and go all over my lid and do an all out smoky eye like I used to do very often when I was younger and didn't know what I was doing, all I'm gonna do is push my eyes back further into my socket and make myself look a little dead. Honestly, I'll kind of look like a skeleton or like a sugar skull. And I don't want that. Not on a daily basis anyway. So again, just taking that shade, bringing it up the brow bone, but being careful not to get too much of it onto my lid, because this is the space that we're gonna wanna brighten and bring forward. Hopefully you guys can see what I mean by that placement, right? So again, we can create depth. It's just for our eye shape, it's all about where you place it so that you're not driving your eye further back into your head. So now let's go ahead and brighten up that lid. So I'm gonna take a little bit more of my P. Louise. This is especially useful for somebody with deep set eyes, because again, it's just gonna help us highlight that piece of the eye that we're trying to bring forward even more. So no matter your skin tone, you wanna just make sure you're using a color that is similar or even a little brighter than your skin tone to really make it pop. And I'm starting this in the inner corner and just working it across my lid about 2/3 of the way, just over. I don't wanna cover up everything we did in the outer corner. So I wanna come over to where that color starts to meet the concealer and stop there. And I'm not trying to be, this gives like the illusion of a soft cut crease. I'm not trying to be super precise or neat about the cut crease or anything like that, but I do still wanna make sure that's like softly blended across the lid. So we should be looking something like this. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. Now for the effect of the video, I definitely wanna use, I think I used this color on the lid in my last video with this palette. I definitely wanna use something over here just to illustrate that like nice bright pop on the lid. So I'm gonna take this shade right here. It's called Snug. Picking that up on a Sigma E55. And I'm gonna see how we do with this shade with the brush to start. You guys, I have to say, I'm gonna go with my finger. I have to say, yeah, definitely the finger. I'm a little underwhelmed with the shimmers in this palette. I know in my last video, I gave it an overall good review, and like, I do stand by that. I do like the palette. I do like the color scheme, and you know, I like the Natasha Denona formula, but the way that these shimmers are so underwhelming applied with a brush is like a little concerning to me. Like, just for the price point of these palettes are $70. They're not cheap. So like, that shimmer, in my opinion, should go on like butter and stay there and not move. Yeah, I don't know, you guys. My second impression of this palette might be that the shimmers are not that good. So for a little extra smokiness in the outer corner, I'm gonna come into this shade Pep. It's definitely the darkest shade in the palette. I feel like I want something a little bit darker than this, like a really dark brown or a black, but that's okay. I'm taking it on a smudge brush to start, and I'm gonna just work it sideways against the tape, and then we're gonna really like blend that out. So again, with deep set eyes, I still am all about the drama. I'm all about the smoke, but I've just learned that concentrating it in the outer corner of my eye is what is going to give me the best result. And then I'm gonna take a small blending brush. This is a Morphe, what is this, 506? And I'm gonna soften that. Okay, let's take the tapes off. Something funny was going on with my tape in this outer corner, so I might have to clean that up a little bit. Actually, before I clean up, I almost forgot I do want to do an inner corner highlight. So let's take, gosh, I don't know, let's try L. I don't know if this is going to be like bright enough. It's fine. It's I'm taking that in my inner corner, and then I'm also going to like scoop it up a little bit in like the inner part of my crease. And again, this is just to give us a little more brightness and continue to create the illusion of bringing the eye forward. Maybe I should try a little bit of fancy on top of that. Guys, why am I not loving this palette the second time around? I don't know what's going on here. Again, like I said, I haven't watched any other reviews of this, so I could just be oblivious to the obvious. Maybe the feedback around this palette has been negative and I just didn't know it, but why am I not loving it? All right, let's clean up underneath. Okay, let's talk about lashes really quickly. So I personally like a pretty, you know, medium drama, fluffy lash. I feel like lashes are very subjective. They are very personal preference, but I do have a few thoughts in terms of like what I think works well or works the best on my eye shape. Today I am gonna go for the drama and I'm gonna use Legacy from Kiss. These are so beat up, I'm probably gonna throw these out after we do this eye look. But the reason that I like these is because they have the fluff, they have the drama, but you can see they also have a really nice taper. With our eyes, we're trying to bring our eyelids forward and keep the drama on the outer corners of the eye. So a lash that kind of mimics that shape where they're shorter on the inner corner and then taper out. They're gonna give you that cat eye effect. They're gonna allow you to still see your eyelid and all of that brightness that we've created when your eyes are open without covering that all up by being too long and too dramatic. And then that taper at the end is also gonna give you that nice lift and accent, that lifted look that we're trying to create. That being said, I also do love a good rounded lash to round out my eye a little bit more. It just kind of depends on the look that I'm going for. But a more rounded lash like the Noblesse that I like from these can help give your eye that more open, awake effect and bring your eyes out of the sockets a little bit more as well. So personal preference, I would just say you don't want anything too dramatic, but you also don't want anything too natural either. That's not going to do anything to complement your eye shape. So those are two that I personally love. If you like more of a lash, Legacy and Noblesse from Kiss. I also think that the Ardell 421s are great for a more natural lash. Kiss Fair Affair I love. Kiss 11s my sister loves, and she has the same eye shape as me. So there definitely are ones that you can play around with, but I would say wispy to like a medium fluff to them, and then just play around with a more tapered lash and a more rounded lash and just see what you personally like. All right, I'm gonna get these on off of camera and I'll be right back. So as you guys can see, deep set eyes can still handle a more dramatic lash. When I'm looking straight into the mirror and my eyes are open, I can still see that beautiful shimmer. I can still see that highlight that we've created. And then of course I can still obviously see the drama that we've created in the outer corner. Okay, eyes are done. I am actually gonna film a separate video. I'm gonna test out the new Anastasia foundation. So I'm gonna go do my face off of camera and then I will come back and we'll finish up this look and that'll be it. So I will see you in a couple minutes. Okay, friends, looking a lot different now, huh? The rest of my makeup is done. I am so excited for you guys to see my video on this foundation that I just filmed. I'm not sure which of these I'm gonna feel like posting first. I think I'm gonna do this one first and then the foundation one. We'll see. It's either up already or it's coming right after this one, so stay tuned. But I think this makeup looks pretty dang good. That being said, I do have a couple more tips that I want to give you for deep set eyes, so let's just go ahead and wrap up this video. And what I'm about to tell you, I feel like I just need to caveat. I'm not saying you should never put dark eyeliner on the lower lash line. I'm not saying you should never put dark eyeshadow or do a dark lower lash line. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if, again, we're trying to achieve the goal of bringing the deep set eyes forward and making them look more bright and open, these are the tips. So I would recommend an eyeliner for this, but I actually don't have like a nude eyeliner. So this is actually a stick eyeshadow from ColourPop, but it's gonna serve the same effect. A white eyeliner, a nude eyeliner, something that has a little bit of shimmer to it like this actually is really beautiful for the waterline. Again, to give you more of that open eye effect as opposed to a darker like brown or black. So again, this is from ColourPop. This is like actually completely rubbed off, so I couldn't even tell you what shade this is. But again, this is just a little shadow stick and it has a shimmer to it. as we can see. So I'm just gonna run this right into my waterline. I can't really see in the viewfinder because when I'm looking down at the viewfinder, I'm looking down. I'm gonna look straight into the camera for this. But hopefully you guys can see that just gives us a little bit of shine, especially because this has shimmer in it. You don't have to use something with shimmer in it. You can just use a plain white or a plain nude. But putting a lighter color along your waterline right next to your eye, which is white, it's obviously a light color, gives the illusion of your eye being a little bit bigger, and therefore makes it look a little bit more open. So like if you were to use an actual white eyeliner and put it there, it would blend directly in with the whites of your eyes, and again, just make your eyes look a little bigger. But I do feel like something shimmery like this, or a nude or a rose gold, does give that similar effect to the white, almost without being as like striking as a pure white eyeliner. So I hope that makes sense. Again, all we're trying to do here is brighten up the eye and make it look a little bit more open. That being said, hopefully that eyeshadow does not get all over my contacts. And then if you want to do eyeshadow on the lower lash line, I am going to recommend that if you want to do a darker color like this one here, get it on a smudging brush and just keep it in the outer corner. So I just got a little bit of that shade on a smudging brush. This is nice and precise, so we can pack it in right along that outer lash line. And if I'm looking straight, I'm just gonna bring it right to the outside of my iris on each eye. And again, we're just working with the principle that the further out you blend this way, the darker the color, the more you put down here, the more closed your eye can look. And we're going for bright, open, beautiful, big eyes. So I'm just giving myself a little bit of definition in the outer corner. And then I am going to take a really tiny little blending brush. This is from Sigma, it's the E36. I'm gonna come back into that first shade we were using, Soft Spot, and this is precise, it's small, so you can get in that little tiny space underneath your eye, but it's also fluffy, so it's gonna really help us diffuse the color. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that and then just go right over top of that darker shade and start softening that and blending that out. And then because this color is much lighter, if you want to take this in towards the inner corner, you can. And this just gives you that soft definition underneath the eye. If you feel like it looks unfinished without any kind of eyeshadow on the bottom, this just like finishes the look off for you. But again, you're not putting like a ton of black eyeliner and black eyeshadow or even dark brown on the lower lash line and just overdoing it and closing up your eye. All right, and as I mentioned before, we're just gonna do a quick little hit of bottom mascara and we will be all done. Here is the finished eye look. So hopefully I demonstrated what I was trying to demonstrate well. Again, it's glam. It's not minimal makeup. You don't have to be afraid of putting a lot of eye makeup on deep set eyes. It's just all about where you place the dark colors and the light colors to really elongate your shape, create the shape that you want, contour the eyes a little bit, smoke up that drama without overpowering your eyes and making yourself look like a skeleton with sunken eyes. So hopefully those tips helped. Really quick, even though I talk about this in the Anastasia foundation video that I just filmed, I just want to clue you in on the lip combo real quick. Okay, so it is the Maybelline Lifter Liner. This is the shade Player. So I mentioned this in my drugstore video, but I did not try this out. I tested out the other one, so I wanted to test that out on camera. Love it. Definitely packs a punch. I don't know why. I mean, it looks kind of dark, so I don't know why I wasn't expecting it to be as dark on the lips as it is, but definitely packs a punch. And then the all over lip color is the Pink Sand Lip Velvet from Anastasia. So these were buy one, get one, 50% off, I believe, when I was purchasing the foundation, and I've been dying to try these. So I did, and it didn't disappoint. I really like it. So that's the lip combo. If you are somebody with deep set eyes, I hope that these more in-depth tips and tricks specific to your eye type, our eye type, were helpful. I have been playing with makeup for so long, and when I first got into makeup, like even if you go back and watch my videos for my tutorials from like, gosh, how long has it been? 6, 7 years ago? Sometimes I look back at them and I'm like, girl, you didn't know what you were doing. Or sometimes I just look back at like makeup selfies that I took back in the day in like 2017, 2018, and I'm like, I should not have done that. But as I have developed both as a makeup lover and a makeup artist as well, I really have learned what looks good and what doesn't on specific eye shapes, and also specifically on my eye shape. And so I've just learned that I really can't overload my eyes with super dark, smoky colors. And if I'm going to do that, it's gotta be in the outer corner. So hopefully if you're looking to learn how to maybe elevate your makeup, go a little bit more glam with your eye makeup, but you just feel like it doesn't quite look right when you're trying to like recreate a Pinterest inspo photo or whatever. A lot of times that's gonna be because whatever you're looking at, whoever you're looking at, an inspo photo just doesn't have the same facial features as you and doesn't have the same eye features, so it just doesn't translate. So. All right, I talked about this a bit throughout the video, so not to beat a dead horse, but I feel undecided about this dang palette. Like now that the rest of my makeup is done, this looks so pretty. It looks so good. Actually, let's put a little bit more, I want a little bit more inner corner highlight now that the rest of my makeup is done. But you guys know, I mean, I love Natasha Denona. I love her palettes. I keep the Glam palette and the Bronze palette in my Pro kit. I have the I Need a Nude palette in my own collection. I bought this one immediately because I loved the color story, even though it was basic. But because these palettes are so expensive, I feel like I do need to be a harsh critic of them. Because I have ColourPop palettes that are half this price that I feel like I'm more impressed overall with the mattes and the shimmers and the performance. So jury's still out. Do I hate it? Is it horrible? Absolutely not. That is not true at all. But like, am I so in love with it the way that I thought I would be? I don't think so. All right, that's enough rambling. If you have made it this far in the video and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button down below before you leave so you don't miss any future uploads from me. What do you think, guys? I feel like I've been doing pretty well with staying consistent and posting. I think I've posted, what, like 3 videos, but it's fine. I feel like 1 video a week, if I can at least maintain that pace, then I feel like that's good. You can also follow me on Instagram. I am at glambydevyng over there as well. You'll see a lot more of my client work, and I hang out on stories there a lot, so you can just find me in between YouTube videos there if you'd like. I am also at glambydevyng on TikTok. We all know, who the heck knows what's happening with TikTok, and honestly, I don't care about TikTok as much. I don't know. I am having a really hard time getting into it. I feel like I have to be on there because of my job, but like, I don't know. I'm not as active on there, but you can find me there. But yeah, with that, I will catch you in my next one. Mwah. Love you. Bye.